Hello all, this is Amanda from Honeydew Crafts. We're going to do another demo video for you today. We're going to be using the social butterfly. So we'll just have a quick look at what we've got coming up. So we've got the social butterfly. Oh, let's flip the screen around. There we go. Social butterfly stamp. We've got a selection of different papers that we're going to be using. I'll go through those in a moment. We're going to be using the white embossing powder, the white opal embossing powder, Versamark ink, Kitsch Flamingo Distress Oxide, but you can use any colour that you have, sticky glue, and our large blending brush, and you will need a heat gun as well. So let's remove that, take that off there, then we can look at this properly. Apologies if the light bounces, we've got skylights in our unit and we can't control the light coming through them, so hopefully we can catch this so you can actually see what it says. So this is the social butterfly, and it says it doesn't have to be perfect to inspire. Social butterfly, and down the bottom there, if I can get it out of the flash, birthday wishes. And then obviously the really lovely large butterfly stamp in the bottom there. So this is one of our $8.99 sets. As I said, Kitsch Flamingo, white embossing powder, which is just a white embossing powder, and white opal, which is a white with a glitter in it. So you'll see how we're going to use those. We will be using the Honeydew Crafts Vellum and the Cardstock, smooth cardstock. We do it in 250 GSM or 300 GSM, and we also need the jet black cardstock as well. So, shall we get started? Move all of this out of the way, the bits that we don't need. Get the bits we do need. Here we go. So measurements on the cardstock. We are using an 8x8 card. Remember, with the 8x8 cards, majority of them it's the envelope that's 8x8, not the card. So these are slightly under an 8x8 size. We've also got a piece of black cardstock, which is 7.5 by 7.5. A piece of the white smooth cardstock, which is 7.25 by 7.25, and a little bit of the vellum. That's all we need for this one. It's really simple to do. So we'll start with this piece. We're going to take the large blending brush that comes in the little case. They've got little clips on there to release your brush. Pop that off to one side. And our Kitsch Flamingo. We just load the brush up with some ink. So these are the ones that don't have handles, so they're really easy to grip, and you can get lots of pressure or lighter pressure, whichever you prefer. And we're just going to take it to the centre of the card, and in circular motions just lay that ink down on the card. You're only sort of doing a small-ish circle through the middle. You don't need to put loads and loads of ink on the cardstock. Just blend it out towards the edges. Now when you do this particular card, do this and then pop it off to one side. You need to make sure that that's completely dry before we go on to the next stage. If not, if you can't wait, then I would suggest definitely an anti-static bag, and maybe even going as far as heating it a little bit, just to make sure it's completely dry before you do the next stage. Otherwise you will so regret that. So here's one I did earlier. It doesn't have to be perfectly blended. It's not a biggie if it's not. So just be happy with what you've got. You're going to be covering up some majority of that anyway. So that's the hardest bit of the whole event. We're then going to take our social butterfly stamp set, and it's the large butterfly and some Versamark ink. Lots of little light taps all over. Going to grab said anti-static bag because I did only manage to get this done about an hour ago, so I want to make sure it's completely dry. So just wipe my anti-static pad over there. So we also have these in stock, which are custom made for us with this pattern on, and they are $3.99 each. going to take our butterfly and we're just going to pop it off on an angle and just press that down. It's quite a large stamp, so make sure you put plenty of ink on and give it time to absorb into the cardstock. And then you're going to take that away. And now it's starting to rain, so if you hear the rain, it's very atmospheric. And we're going to use the white, so the white embossing powder without any glitter in. And we're going to sprinkle that over the top. And shake the excess off. Now that is why you've got to make sure that your ink is dry, that you've laid down your colour before you put it on. Otherwise your embossing powder will stick to wherever that ink is still wet. Put that back in the pot. And then I'm also going to just add my sentiment on there as well. And I've gone for the, it doesn't have to be perfect to inspire. Pop some ink on there. Just pop our sentiment down. Straight as I can get it without sticking my head in the camera. Move that, and again I'm just going to use the white embossing powder just across that sentiment. Give that a flick. A couple of pieces where it's stuck from earlier. There we go. And pop that powder back in the pot and put the lid back on if I can find it. Then we're going to heat this one, and I always heat from underneath. Purely my own personal choice. It puts a barrier between the heat tool and the embossing powder, and so obviously more will stick rather than get blown away. Make sure your heat gun is really hot, and then you're just going to watch that change, and as it changes, move it along. It's actually easier to see it change than you're seeing it on the camera. Just mind if you do it from underneath that you don't burn your fingers. It does take a little bit of practice from underneath, so don't be scared if it goes wrong. But you can burn your card if you're not careful. So just be aware of that. I feel like I need some background music on there when I'm doing this, because I can't really talk to you. So that's the first part of the card done. Give it a little bit of a wiggle to keep it while it's still warm, to try and flatten that out. There we go. So there's our main part of our card done, the hardest part. So then we're going to take a piece of vellum and again go back in with our social butterfly stamp. We're going to ink the stamp up with the Versamark ink again, so it's just a sticky clear embossing ink. Plenty of ink on there. Stamp our image on. Now with the Versamark onto vellum, it doesn't dry very quickly, so you don't have to panic and rush to do everything. But also be aware not to press too hard where your butterflies are, because you'll lose all the detail on the smaller ones if you're not careful. And then we're going to go in this time with the white opal, so it's an embossing powder, white embossing powder with a glitter in it. See, you can just pick up the sparkle there. And we're just going to pop that all over. Now this isn't any special vellum, it isn't any heat resistant or anything like that, it's just regular vellum that we use. We have it in specifically for doing the flowers. It's perfect for making vellum flowers with. And so don't go out spending a fortune on heat resistant vellum when you don't need to. You just, I'll give you a couple of little tricks that you need to do to make sure they stay safe, so it doesn't burn basically. Again, I'm going to heat from underneath, but you don't have to. And always hold vellum in the air when you heat it. that allows the heat to travel through, and hopefully you won't burn it. It will change from a liquid to or powder to a solid much quicker on the vellum as well, because it's obviously not as thick as the paper or the cardstock that we've used. So that's it all done, and hopefully, I don't think it's going to pick up the sparkle, but it is a sparkly image. So we're then going to turn that over once that takes a couple of seconds, just to make sure that's 100% dry. And with the Kitsch Flamingo again, so we're colour coordinating everything, we're just going to rub some colour on the back there. And it's easier to do this before you cut it out rather than after, speaking from experience. Be great, we're 10 minutes in already. It's the time go when we make these videos. I try and make them quick and easy for you to follow, and it takes forever, doesn't it? Then you're going to go in and cut your butterfly out. Unfortunately, there is no die for this, so you're going to have to bite the bullet and cut it out. Now, a couple of little things that I want to tell you about cutting this out. It's entirely up to you whether you leave the butterfly's antennae in there or not. It is only a card. You won't kill anybody by cutting them off. And secondly, take a little bit of time, don't rush it. So you're going to go round. Now, you don't have to go round every individual butterfly, because on the edges you do, but not obviously going inside here, because you need it all to stay connected. So I've kind of gone to the middle of the wing and then across to the middle of the next wing. And then the same again over here. So from here across to the next wing. That will allow you to have that shape. Now, you're not going to watch me cut this whole thing out. You're going to get the idea of what I'm talking about. So you're just going to go around and come across at each of the middle of the wings. So hopefully you will then end up with something that looks like so. So it's not really showing up on the camera, but this is sparkly, whereas the one that we did straight onto the cardstock isn't sparkly. Let's get some of this out of the way so we can show you. You're then going to take just a kebab stick or whatever you've got and just give this a little bit of shape. Again, it's up to you if you want to cut into here. I am going to cut in there to take that wing, to give me a little bit more movement on that wing. I haven't cut in across here because I'm not prepared to go all the way around in there. There's more to life than that. We've just given her a little bit of shape on her wings, and then I'm just nipping either side of her body so it will give us somewhere to stick down. So we'll get the card now and put it all together. So black cardstock, just going to pop some glue on the back. Stick that down in the middle. And stick this piece down as well. Now, if you've got time, as I said, leave your embossing piece off to one side to allow it to cool down and settle a little, because this one's still got a little bit of a curl to it, which is going to drive me insane, but you'll get the idea. If you really are in a hurry and you need to make sure that that doesn't curl up, foam pads will hide that for you. So on the back of this vellum, we're just going to pop a little bit of glue in the middle there and place it on the top. Now, this is a card we've had on display a lot of the shows recently, and lots of people have been asking how it was made, so I did promise I would do a video of it. So that is how quick and simple that card is. Literally all I did beforehand was cut out the cardstock, which was two squares. So again, not difficult to do, and hopefully you can see that you can probably do this card, bearing in mind obviously I didn't cut the butterfly out completely, in about 20 minutes. at the most, maybe half an hour, depending on how quick you are at cutting. But it's a really nice, effective, clean, simple card. Again, I might be quite tempted to take the image inside, because you all know I like to carry everything through. So I'm going to take the butterfly again, ink her up with Versamark, pop our image just in the bottom corner, stamp it off the page. It doesn't have to be stamped beautifully. Nice clear image there. And then we will pop some, I think we'll go with a bit of sparkle inside. So we'll do a little bit of the white opal. So we're doing white on white, which is again really, really effective. But if you wanted to, you could maybe even go around the inside, blend the inside of the card with some pink beforehand if you wanted to as well. So again, it's your card, so make it how you would like it to be. And this one will take a little bit longer again to heat because we're cardstock and it's heavyweight cardstock, obviously because it's a card base. I don't suppose you can really see this change, but it just brings, it pulls the whole card together. It brings the, I think by putting a little something on the inside, it makes them quite professional looking. Even better if you put your finger in some ink or something there beforehand. That's what we've mixed. And there we have the stamped image on the inside as well. That kind of shows a little bit more of the sparkle, I think, doesn't it? So that brings it all tied in together. So start to finish, 25 minutes, half an hour, including cutting out your cardstock. So I've got a few other cards that I can show you using this particular stamp set. So this one has been done by, I think Helen did this, and we've got a little bit of mirror card behind it, and it's been stamped and embossed in silver embossing powder, and the sentiments are done in gold embossing powder. This one's got a combination of different things, so we've just got the butterfly on there, we've got the spiral stencil across the middle, and then there is a butterfly on, let me think which one it's from One Day at a Time, stamped on the background of where it's been inked up. Then again another one that's just the butterfly in the centre of the card, inked up with multiple different colours of ink. This one they've used the multi-butterfly wing of the butterfly to do the border around the edge. This one's been coloured, stamped in black ink, clear embossing powder over the top, and then the paint splodges stamp has been used to do the colouring in. So that makes it really, really effective without having to do any colouring in whatsoever. Again, a really quick, easy card to do. This one again has just been stamped and embossed with black ink and clear embossing powder on the top. This one has got our rose bouquet stencil in the background. The sentiment, I believe, is from, let me think what that sentiment was from. Oh, I can't remember. I'll have to come back to you on that one, I think. I think it's from Floral Colour, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look around for that one. And then last but not least, this one again, this was Crackling Campfire blended on the background, and then just a black ink put over the top, which I think also looks really, really effective. So that's oh, sorry, you got my whole hand in there. That's everything from me. As I said, sorry about the reflection. We've got skylights above. I'm trying to avoid it. I've got, there we go. I think I can go about there. If you have any questions, you can email us on honeydewcrafts@gmail.com. You can see everything that we've used today over on our website on honeydewcrafts.co.uk, and you can also find us on Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel. Obviously you're probably watching it through this, or watching this through that, should I say. And on our Facebook page we also have a closed group, which is Honeydew Crafts Be Inspired. So if you'd like to join that, where everybody gets to share all their ideas and lots of pictures of all the samples they've made, or all the cards they've made, should I say, send us a link, a message, and we'll let you join that group as well. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.